welcome to the 12th episode of Tuesdays with Tobe. My name is Tobe Frierson, and I am super excited to be back here with you all again today. I sure hope things are going well with you and your families, particularly since we're entering a new season. You might be like, Tobe, we're entering a new season. What's going on? Well, I don't know if you all missed it or not, but this past Saturday marked the first day of spring. I could hardly believe that time has moved this quickly. And yes, I don't know about where you live, but right now things are moving pretty fast for me, and 2021 is flying by. It is so hard to believe that we are in spring. And with that, today we're going to do a little bit of spring cleaning on our episode. We are actually going to think about taking a mental scan or either a physical scan of our homes, our places of work, our schools, our hearts, our relationships. We're going to look at some areas and we're going to figure out what might need a little bit of TLC during this season as we enter into spring. But before we get to that, I am going to ask you all, did you do the right thing last week? I know I challenged us to listen to that inner voice that speaks to us, that tries to give us direction. And I challenged you all that when you come to a crossroads, let's just do the right thing. And I frankly appreciate some of the feedback that I got, because some of you said, well, Tobe, I've seen other people not do the right thing and they are greatly benefiting from that. And I have to acknowledge that you're exactly right. People 100% benefit from lying, from cheating, from stealing, from creating structures where one group gets to elevate and another group will always be held down. I 100% agree that that's a thing. However, that's a decision that we all have to make. Do you want to be on the end of advancing in life because you took that route? And that might be okay for you. It may be for sure, but I wanted to encourage us to do it a little bit differently. I wanted to encourage us to do the right thing because, one, doing the right thing is most of the times the best decision we can make. I personally would say all the time, but again, I've gotten some feedback. So, hey, when we get feedback, we can change a little bit. But I do think that doing the right thing is the best decision you can make. I also think, and I gave some examples in last week's episode, that oftentimes doing the right thing is what's expected of us. And then lastly, I shared that doing the right thing can certainly open doors for us. So again, this was just a quick little check-in because I like to do those at the beginning of each episode. If you were unable to see this, please hop back 1 week and check out Do the Right Thing. Before we kick things off with our spring cleaning, it is time to say our family rules. During Tuesdays with Tobe, we will use kind words, do your best, always be honest, forgive and forget, be happy, count your blessings, laugh at yourself, stay positive, and love one another. I shouldn't sit here and dwell on the fact that we're literally in a new season, but it's so important to note. I also think that it's literally crept up on us. 2021 is moving so fast, and I just mentioned that. I mean, people now are starting to get vaccinated. Businesses and restaurants are increasing their capacity. Schools are up and running, and students are back in the classroom, many for the first time in an entire school year. And then also, winter's already gone. That's passed us by. And we're literally 2 weeks away from Easter. How many of you remember our episode titled Ready, Set, Go? Ready, Set, Go was an episode back in February where we discussed trying to map things out and planning things for 2021. And if you all didn't do that exercise, I sure hope, sitting here realizing that we are in a new season, that you go back and you write some things down. And also, for those of you who did, how are you doing with that? Are we on track right now as you hear me talk about spring cleaning? Because time is definitely moving and you want to make sure that 2021 does not pass you by. So after being together for 12 weeks and now that we're entering in this new season, let's do the spring cleaning together. By now, you know I love lists. I talk to you guys all the time about lists, and I also love categories. So we are going to look at our spring cleaning in 3 distinct categories. Let's start with our homes. Whatever you do each spring, and you're like, Tobe, I don't really do spring cleaning. Good. This is going to be your first time. Let's look at our windows. Let's look at our closets. Let's look at the garage. How about the pantry, the freezer? And some of you guys have deep freezers as well. Like this whole concept of having like another freezer in the garage or somewhere out back. That's phenomenal. I don't have 2 freezers. But seriously, what in your home could use some TLC right now? Where should you be focusing that? How about the cleansing of your heart today? Is there any malice? Are you dealing with feelings of guilt, any disdain towards anyone? How about any envy and any unforgiveness? It is so vitally important that we protect our hearts. That is one thing that we actually can't do for each other. I literally cannot protect your heart because I don't know what's in it. I only know what I'm experiencing when I'm with you, or perhaps maybe what I'm not experiencing if you're not able to give the way that you would want to give. Sometimes that's a heart issue, and this is definitely an area that I want us to focus as we do our spring cleaning. And then lastly, for our third category, I don't want to throw too many things out there. These are just examples for the list that you're going to create. Our relationships. I did an exercise. I think this was the text message and triggers episode where I told you all to look at your last 5 text messages, but not the actual messages themselves, the last 5 people who messaged you. So that's also another good exercise to do right here as we do some spring cleaning and we examine our relationships. Who are the last 5 people that you've heard from, and what role are they playing in your life right now? Is that role working out for you? Or are you in the wrong crowd? Do you have a friend that's constantly full of drama, and as you go through, you're like, oh yeah, Toby, I still haven't been able to tell this person how much negative energy they bring towards me just by telling me about their stories and their day? Is that somebody that you still want to associate with right now or associate with as closely? How about you're never on the receiving end? You're always giving to others, but when you sit down and do this spring cleaning of your relationships, you're finding yourself like, you know what, I come up a little short. Like, I don't really get all the stuff that I'm putting out. You constantly have to initiate and nurture, and you don't feel that same initiation or nurturing coming towards you. And then lastly, hard conversations. As we examine our relationships, as we do this spring cleaning, where's there a need for some hard conversations? So these are just 3 categories that came to mind when I thought about spring cleaning, but I need you all to come up with your own categories. Luckily for us, spring lasts until June. We have several weeks to look at these areas in our lives and to do some of this TLC, to do some of this spring cleaning. If I were you, I would fully take advantage. Make your list this week. Make your list as soon as you finish this episode. This is important. It's so important for us to examine what's going on within us and what's going on around us, and then for us to dust some of those things off so we can start afresh. There's nothing like opening your pantry and you can actually find what you're looking for. Or better than that, having more clarity of mind and being able to focus because you've rid yourselves of all kinds of heaviness by clearing your heart and clearing your mind. And then finally, and no one can convince me differently of this. So the amazing feedback I get, y'all keep bringing it, but you cannot convince me that mended, healthy, and whole relationships are literally one of the best gifts that we can ever have in this life. And it takes work. If you want those types of deep ties, that takes so much work. So let's be serious about cleaning up our relationships, because this is going to be a win for so many people, for ourselves, and of course for the people around us. I hope you spur into action with the items that you're going to put on your spring cleaning list, and then either privately with someone you trust, or I always invite you all each week, drop a comment below for me. I want you to tell me what's on your list and what are you going to be working on now that we're into this new season. As always, I hope you all like, share, and subscribe, and happy spring. I'll see you back here next week.